First Contact's Fury. The message arrived at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station on a Tuesday. Lieutenant Sarah Chen had been monitoring the quantum communications array for nearly 8 hours of her 12-hour shift, fighting boredom with her fourth cup of coffee when every screen in the facility suddenly flashed crimson. "What the hell?" she muttered, setting down her mug as her fingers flew across the control panel. The incoming signal strength registered off the charts, impossible for anything originating beyond the solar system. She opened the emergency channel. "Command, this is DSM-7. We're receiving an anomalous transmission. Signal characteristics indicate non-terrestrial origin." Admiral Victor Okafor's face appeared on her screen seconds later. "Authenticate and secure the transmission, Lieutenant. I'm assembling the Joint Chiefs." 3 hours later, in the subterranean war room beneath Geneva, Earth's Unified Defense Council gathered around the holographic display. Military leaders from every major nation stood in tense silence as Admiral Okafor entered with Director of Intelligence Amara Singh. "Ladies and gentlemen," Okafor began, "at 3:47 hours, we received a transmission unquestionably of extraterrestrial origin. The message was directed specifically at Earth Military Command." The holotype flickered to life, displaying alien symbols that scrolled before resolving into English text. "To Earth Military Forces. RGNTREQUEST for NNTRV. We are ETECEPHEIDA Alliance Galactic CC2R 37 under a sovereignty from HFY COLEC Conventional Defenses Federalism. Legendes speak of Earth warriors ferocity. Your reputation PRECEDs you. Fugu ordinates AT. ED. Time critical. Respond. General Takahashi of the Pan-Asian Coalition leaned forward. "Is this verified? We've barely established outposts beyond Mars. What reputation are they referring to?" "That's what concerns us," Director Singh replied. "According to our records, humanity has had no contact with sentient extraterrestrial life. Yet this message implies not only awareness of our existence, but specific knowledge of our military capabilities." The Russian general, Petrov, scoffed. "This could be elaborate deception. Perhaps test of our response protocols." "We've ruled out terrestrial origin," Okafor countered. "The signal utilized quantum entanglement technology beyond our current capabilities." The room erupted in debate. Some advocated immediate mobilization, while others urged caution. The argument continued until Colonel Maya Hernandez, commander of Earth's first interstellar vessel, the UES Pathfinder, slammed her palm on the table. "With respect," she said, cutting through the noise, "if this is genuine, we're talking about first contact. If an interstellar civilization is requesting military aid, the threat must be substantial, potentially one that could eventually reach Earth. Wouldn't it be better to engage it on someone else's territory than our own?" Her words hung in the air. After a tense silence, Admiral Okafor nodded. "Colonel Hernandez makes a valid point. I propose we send a reconnaissance force to assess the situation before committing fully." The vote was narrow, 7-5 in favor of response. 48 hours later, Earth's nascent interstellar fleet assembled in high orbit. The operation, designated First Contact, consisted of the UES Pathfinder and 5 newly commissioned battle cruisers. Colonel Hernandez stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder, watching as crew performed final checks. "All ships report ready, Colonel," announced Lieutenant Commander Rajpatil from Tactical. "Warp drive calculations complete." Hernandez nodded. "Initiate synchronized jump in 5 minutes. All hands to battle stations." As klaxons sounded throughout the ship, Admiral Okafor's face appeared on the command screen. "Colonel, I don't need to remind you that the fate of humanity may rest on your decisions. Your primary mission is reconnaissance and assessment. Engage only if absolutely necessary." "Understood, Admiral." "And Maya," Okafor added, his formal tone softening. "Bring everyone home." The 6 ships vanished in simultaneous flashes of blue light, tearing holes in space-time as they accelerated beyond light speed. The journey took 3 days of subjective time. When the fleet emerged at the provided coordinates, they found themselves orbiting a binary star system with 12 planets. The fourth world, reminiscent of Earth but with striking purple atmospheric bands, showed signs of advanced civilization. Multiple artificial structures detected in orbit, reported Lieutenant Chow from the sensor station. Most appear damaged, detecting debris fields consistent with recent combat. "Life signs?" Hernandez asked. "Affirmative. Several large concentrations on the planet's surface and within the remaining orbital structures." Before Hernandez could issue further orders, Communications Officer Garcia called out, "Incoming transmission, Colonel. It's originating from the largest orbital structure." On screen. The view screen flickered, revealing a slender humanoid figure with iridescent blue-green skin and large compound eyes. Despite the alien physiology, Hernandez could read the expression of shock and relief on its face. "You came," the alien said in perfect English. "By the void, you actually came." Hernandez stepped forward. "This is Colonel Maya Hernandez of the United Earth Fleet. We received your distress signal." The alien pressed its 4-fingered hands together in what appeared to be a gesture of respect. "I am High Commander Zulix of the Sci-Fi Alliance. Your arrival brings hope we had nearly abandoned." The alien paused, studying them. "But your force is smaller than we anticipated." "This is a reconnaissance mission," Hernandez explained. "We need to understand the situation before committing additional resources." Zilix's compound eyes blinked rapidly. "Of course. Permission to dock your vessel with our command station." Time grows short. 2 hours later, Hernandez and her senior officers sat across from Zilix and representatives from 6 other species in what appeared to be a war room. Holographic displays showed tactical information in alien script, while a large view screen displayed real-time footage of distant battles. "The Hive Collective emerged from the Galactic core 50 cycles ago," Zilix explained. "They consume everything: resources, technology, living beings. Those who resist are obliterated. Those who surrender become part of the biomass." A tall, insectoid being that had introduced itself as Strategic Mind Clitic manipulated the holographic controls. The display shifted to show a massive fleet of organic-looking ships, thousands strong. "This is their main force," Clitic chittered, its translator converting the sounds to English. "It will reach this system within 48 of your hours." Commander Patel frowned. "With respect, why contact Earth? We're newcomers to interstellar travel. Surely there are more advanced civilizations that could help." The representatives exchanged glances before Zilix responded. "We sent distress calls to over 300 worlds. You are the only ones who answered." 300 worlds. Hernandez couldn't hide her shock. There are that many inhabited planets in this region of space. A reptilian being with crystalline growths protruding from its scales leaned forward. "The galaxy teems with intelligent life, Colonel. Most species prioritize self-preservation. They fear that responding would only draw the Hive's attention to their worlds next." "Then why us?" asked Lieutenant Chow. "How did you even know about Earth?" The aliens fell silent until a small ghostly figure composed of what looked like bioluminescent gas spoke from within a containment suit. "The legends," it whispered in a harmonic voice. "Legends," Hernandez echoed. Zilix nodded slowly. "Your kind is spoken of in ancient texts. Humans are different. While most species evolve toward specialization, yours develop remarkable adaptability. The stories tell of a species so unpredictable, so tenacious, that they achieve the impossible when faced with extinction." "The berserkers of the void," added Clitic. "That is what the oldest texts call you." Hernandez exchanged bewildered glances with her officers. "These legends can't refer to us. We've barely left our solar system. Time moves differently across the stars. The gaseous being replied enigmatically. Sometimes effects precede causes when viewing the galactic tapestry. Before Hernandez could press further, alarms blared throughout the station. A young alien rushed into the chamber. "High Commander, scout vessels report the Hive Vanguard has accelerated. They will arrive within 12 hours. Zelix turned to Hernandez, compound eyes reflecting the emergency lights. "Colonel, we understand your mission parameters, but circumstances have changed. Will you stand with us?" Hernandez felt the weight of humanity's first interstellar decision on her shoulders. After a moment's hesitation, she activated her quantum communicator to contact Earth. Admiral Okeffer's face appeared, grim but resolute after hearing her report. "The Security Council has made its decision, Colonel. Earth will not stand idle while this threat grows. The main fleet has been mobilized." "Sir?" Hernandez questioned, hardly believing what she was hearing. 75 ships, Colonel. Everything we have. They'll arrive within 10 hours. Okafor's expression hardened. "Hold the line until then. Show them what humanity is capable of." As the transmission ended, Hernandez turned back to the gathered aliens, who watched her expectantly. "It seems," she said, a determined smile forming on her lips, "that humanity is going all in." The representatives exchanged looks of shock and dawning hope as Hernandez stepped toward the tactical display. "Now let's make some plans. Tell me everything you know about this Hive collective. Their strengths, their weaknesses, and especially," she emphasized, "what they won't be expecting." For the first time since the Hive began its rampage across the galaxy, the flame of resistance burned bright in the eyes of the Cepheid Alliance. The legends of humanity's fierce determination were about to be put to their ultimate test. Operation Thunderstrike. The orbital command station hummed with frantic activity as Colonel Maya Hernandez surveyed the holographic battle plans. Earth's expeditionary force had spent the last 8 hours integrating their systems with the Cepheid Alliance's remaining defenses, while simultaneously downloading everything they could about Hive tactics and biology. "Their ships are partially organic," Lieutenant Jha reported, gesturing to the holographic cross-section. "They function as both vessels and weapons simultaneously." The ghostly gas-formed alien called Ethereal Vox drifted closer. "The Hive operates as a singular consciousness. Individual drones possess limited autonomy but share sensory input across the collective. Meaning if you hurt one, they all feel it," Commander Patel surmised. "And they all learn from it," added High Commander Zelix grimly. "They adapt with frightening speed." Hernandez studied the tactical display showing the approaching Hive fleet. Over 3,000 vessels of varying sizes, all bearing down on their position. Against them stood the 6 human ships and 28 assorted alien vessels, the last remnants of 7 once proud civilizations. "We're outnumbered 100 to 1, she observed. Strategic mind Klitik chittered nervously. "Those odds have proven insurmountable in all previous engagements." "Then we change the game," Hernandez declared, straightening her back. She tapped her communicator. "All human ship captains and Cepheid field commanders to the war room immediately." 30 minutes later, the expanded War Council stared at Hernandez in disbelief as she outlined her strategy. "This is madness," hissed Captain Drex of the reptilian Sorens. "You want us to engage them head-on. We'll be annihilated." "Not head-on," Hernandez corrected. "We'll create a purposeful weakness in our formation. The Hive will sense the opportunity and commit their forces there. And then we'll be overrun," Drex countered. "No," Hernandez smiled grimly. "Then we'll spring the trap." She explained the details of her plan, a strategy so counterintuitive that several alien commanders needed the concepts explained multiple times. Unlike the methodical, mathematical approach to warfare that most galactic species employed, Hernandez proposed something chaotic, unpredictable, human. "This defies all established tactical doctrine," Zelix said, compound eyes blinking rapidly. "Exactly," Hernandez replied. "And that's why it might work. The Hive has fought against conventional strategies for decades. They've never faced humanity. Before anyone could raise further objections, the station's sensors blared in warning. Hive Vanguard detected entering the system, announced a Sci-Fi technician. Main fleet accelerating behind them. Hernandez looked around the room. It's time to decide. Stand together with this plan, or fall separately with conventional tactics. One by one, the alien commanders signaled their reluctant agreement. As they dispersed to their ships, Admiral Okafor contacted Hernandez through her quantum communicator. Colonel, our fleet will arrive in approximately 2 hours. What's your situation? Enemy has entered the system, sir. We're implementing Operation Thunderstrike. Okafor's expression remained stoic, but Hernandez could see concern in his eyes. That's a hell of a gamble, Colonel. With respect, sir, gambling is what humans do best when our backs are against the wall. He nodded slowly. Make it work, Hernandez. Earth fleet out. As the combined Allied forces moved into position, Lieutenant Garcia approached Hernandez on the bridge of the Pathfinder. Colonel, I've been analyzing the Hive's communication patterns, she said, displaying her findings. They use quantum-entangled particle pairs for instantaneous signaling across their fleet. Can we disrupt it? Better, Garcia replied with quiet confidence. I think we can hijack it. Temporarily. Hernandez's eyes widened. That wasn't part of the original plan. It's a human adaptation, ma'am, Garcia said with a slight smile. I thought you'd approve. The colonel clapped her communications officer on the shoulder. Get it done, Lieutenant. Time to show the galaxy what humanity brings to the fight. The first wave of Hive ships emerged from subspace like a swarm of metallic insects. Their biomechanical vessels pulsed with eerie organic light as they moved in perfect coordination toward the Allied defense perimeter. All ships, maintain formation, Hernandez ordered. Weapons hot but hold fire until my command. The defenders watched as the Hive fleet approached, their sensors detecting energy buildups indicating weapon preparations. Colonel, Job reported tensely, they're scanning us extensively. Good, Hernandez replied. Let them see exactly what we want them to see. When the Hive ships came within weapons range, they did exactly as predicted. Their swarm redirected toward the apparent weakness in the Allied formation, where the Sorin vessels seemed vulnerable. They're taking the bait, Commander Patel announced. Hold position, Hernandez commanded. Wait for it. The first volley from the Hive ships lanced toward the Sorin vessels. Their shields flared bright but held, the adaptations from human shield technology proving effective. Now, Hernandez ordered. Instantly, the Allied formation shifted. Ships that had appeared vulnerable revealed hidden weapons arrays. Others that had seemed powerfully armed suddenly dropped their energy signatures, becoming nearly invisible to sensors. The entire defensive line transformed before the Hive's collective consciousness could process the deception. All ships, weapons free. Human railguns fired hypervelocity tungsten slugs that tore through Hive bioarmor. Sapphire phase disruptors targeted their propulsion systems. The ghostly ethereal's energy-draining beams sapped power from the organic components of the enemy vessels. For several minutes, the battle seemed to swing in their favor. Dozens of Hive ships drifted powerless or exploded in spectacular fashion. But then, as strategic mind Galactic had warned, they adapted. Colonel, the Hive vessels are redistributing their shields, Job reported urgently. They're hardening against our weapons. Lieutenant Garcia, Hernandez called out. Almost there, ma'am, Garcia replied, fingers dancing across her console. Their quantum communication network is complex, but I've isolated the carrier frequencies. Outside, the tide of battle was turning. Hive reinforcements poured in, adjusting their tactics. A Sorin cruiser erupted in flames as concentrated fire overwhelmed its shields. 2 Sci-Fi destroyers followed moments later. Colonel, we can't hold this position much longer, Patel warned as the Pathfinder shuddered under enemy fire. Garcia, Hernandez pressed. Got it. The lieutenant exclaimed. Quantum signal hijacked. Ready to transmit on your order. Execute Phase 2. Garcia initiated the transmission, a carefully crafted packet of contradictory commands injected directly into the Hive's collective consciousness. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Across the battlefield, Hive ships suddenly broke formation. Some fired on their allies, others spun in confused circles, while many simply powered down completely. It worked, Zhao exclaimed. For now, Hernandez cautioned. They'll purge the intrusion soon. All ships, concentrate fire on the flagship cluster. The Allied fleet focused their attacks on the largest Hive vessels at the center of the enemy formation. Without coordinated defenses, the massive organic ships took devastating damage. Then, just as the Hive began to recover, space itself seemed to tear open behind them. 75 Earth ships emerged from warp in perfect attack formation. Admiral Okafor's voice boomed through the comms. Earth fleet, weapons free. Show these bugs what happens when you threaten humanity's allies. The fresh human forces slammed into the Hive's rear flank like an avalanche. Missiles streaked across the battlefield, while energy weapons carved glowing paths through enemy formations. Earth's newest dreadnought, the UES Thunderchild, unleashed its main cannon, a focused beam of exotic particles that cut through an entire line of Hive vessels. Caught between the combined Allied fleet and Earth's reinforcements, the Hive forces began to break apart. Individual ships attempted to retreat, but without their collective coordination, they were easily picked off. 3 hours later, the battle was over. The system was littered with debris from destroyed Hive vessels. The Allied forces had suffered losses. Nearly half the alien ships and 2 human vessels were destroyed. But they had achieved what no one in the galaxy had thought possible. They had broken the Hive. In the aftermath, as recovery operations began, the alien commanders gathered on the Pathfinder's bridge. High Commander Zalix approached Colonel Hernandez, who was overseeing damage reports. The legends did not do your kind justice, Zalix said softly. You did not merely fight. You transformed how war itself is waged in this galaxy. Hernandez shook her head. We just did what humans always do, adapt or die. Your adaptation saved 7 civilizations today, the Cephite commander replied. The Hive Collective will regenerate and return eventually, but now we have something we lacked before. What's that? Hernandez asked. Hope, Zalix answered simply, and humanity as an ally. Admiral Okafor joined them, having transported over from the flagship. This victory will buy us time, but the war is far from over. Strategic mind, Galactic shittered in agreement. The Hive will analyze their defeat. They will develop countermeasures against your tactics. Then we'll develop new ones, Okafor stated firmly. Humanity didn't come this far to lose now. Ethereal Vox drifted forward, its gaseous form shimmering with emotion. We must formalize our alliance. There are other threats in this galaxy beyond the Hive. Other species who will take note of what happened here today. Are you suggesting a galactic coalition? Hernandez asked. With humanity at its core, Zalix confirmed. Your kind possesses something the rest of us have lost over millennia of evolution. Unpredictability. Creativity. The willingness to take risks when logic dictates surrender. Admiral Okafor considered this for a long moment before nodding. I'll need to consult with Earth's leadership, but speaking personally, humanity has always wondered if we were alone in the universe. Finding out we're not, and that we can make a difference out here, that's worth fighting for. As the alien representatives departed to begin drafting formal alliance proposals, Hernandez stood at the viewport, watching repair drones work on the battle-scarred ships. Penny for your thoughts, Colonel. Okafor asked, joining her. Just thinking about those legends, sir, she replied. The ones that called us berserkers of the void. I wonder if today it is why those stories exist in the first place. Okafor raised an eyebrow. Affects preceding causes across the galactic tapestry, as our gaseous friend put it. Something like that. She turned to face him. What happens now, sir? The Admiral gazed out at the stars, stars that no longer represented distant mysteries, but worlds and civilizations now counting on humanity. Now, he said thoughtfully, now we do what humans have always done when facing the unknown. We adapt, we prepare, and when the time comes, his expression hardened with determination. We fight like hell. Across the system, news of the victory spread among the allied species. For the first time in decades, celebrations erupted on worlds that had known only fear and loss, and among the whispered tales of hope, a new legend began to form. The story of the day humanity went all in and changed the fate of the galaxy forever.